I've got Damien Puckler on the bullshit machine today on this episode, and yeah, dude, it's so cool to have you on, man. And look, one of the reasons I just want to give you give people a bit of a snapshot of how we sort of know each other. There's well, if you're listening from America or whatever, or LA, you know that there's this hike that everyone goes to called the Runyon Canyon, and me and my buddies in the band used to walk that almost on a daily basis, and Damo lived in this house about, I don't know, 3/4 of the way up the Runyon Canyon, and there was like horses, and it was just such a cool pattern. You'd see Damien out the front, and dude, like, I don't know if well, you'll probably Google him or whatever after this, or you might know him as well, but man, he's ripped. Like, there's ripped, and then there's fucking ripped, right?
That was about 10 years ago, right?
I know. But we'd walk up, and Damo would be, out the front of his house on this canyon, just like full, punching on and working out, and he had this amazing dog, Roxy, yeah? Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it just like everyone fell in love with that dog, and everyone fell in love with Damo. And so the reason I wanted to get Damien on is because, he's been following his journey in acting and martial arts, and he's been a stuntman. He's been just all these cool things, but he's been through such a journey, and he's definitely someone I've wanted to get on for a while, because it's just been so obvious, man. And we haven't really spoken in 10 years.
No, we have not.
But
only
you've just
Facebook.
Yeah, but you've just relentlessly followed the dream, and it's.
But let me clarify something from the start.
Yeah,
I did not live in that house. I was the caretaker of that ranch. I was living in the trailer, which was a trailer from the 70s. And when I moved in, it was a poop hole, to say the least. It was rain was coming in from the top. There were snakes inside, spiders, everything. It was crazy. But I'm telling you, one of the best times of my life ever. It was amazing. The most amazing view you could ever imagine. I mean, I loved every bit of it. And as you said, Roxy, love of my life. Actually, there's a collage right here I made from all the pictures, because she's unfortunately passed away since. But yeah, she became Roxy or Onion Canyon, man. Everybody knew her, and it's a very popular hike, but it's also one of the only hikes in Los Angeles and Hollywood where you're allowed to have your dog off leash. So there's hundreds of dogs lying, walking around on that hike, just off leash altogether, like a big dog park. And Roxy would literally lie down on the exact path, lie down and sleep, and dogs would go past her. And I had 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 times people call me on my cell phone, because she had her number on her tag, and say, "Hey, your dog, is this your dog? I found him. She's here. She's lying. I don't know if she's okay." And I'm like, "Nah, she's okay. She's just sleeping on the path." So that was Roxy, just totally calm, relaxed. She was like, "I don't care."
Yeah, so it's interesting, because I remember in that I think you told us a story one time when we sort of hung out on there, that, well, actually, first off, how did you even get into that place? Like, was it just like a random thing, or was it through acting, or how did it happen?
Okay. So back up a little bit. I came over to the second time to Los Angeles in December 2006 or 2007, and I started owning a gym in Simi Valley, which is 40 miles out of Los Angeles, up north. And I was doing a boot camp. I was trying to survive, because I was coming over here to do acting and stunt work, because the manager wanted me to come over here, but then he actually passed away literally when I came over. So I was like, oh my God, what? So I don't know what to do. So I opened a gym up there, which was just an opportunity because of a friend. And that gym actually went under in 2008, because the economy went, and I had a few stunt jobs lined up, and I was like, okay, good. I'm gonna go get in my car and just drive down to Hollywood, and these stunt jobs are coming up, so I have a little bit of money, maybe get an apartment or something, hang out with my friends for a while in their apartments, but and then those stunt jobs fell through, and I was like, oh crap. So I was kind of living in my car. My friends always hate me for saying this, because I stayed at theirs for a little bit, but then I actually stayed in my car for a bit, because I didn't want to be a burden, you know what I mean? And I went to Runyon Canyon to walk Roxy, because it was the best place to do so. And I just came across that sign, looking for caretaker of the ranch, needs to know how to deal with horses. And there was a goat, Delilah, who, if you know Runyon Canyon, Delilah, the three-legged goat. That's a whole story in itself. I love that girl. She was amazing.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah. So she survived a dog attack and lost her leg and became the three-legged goat of running. It was amazing. But so I applied and went to an interview with the owner, who is a very well-known director from the 70s, 80s, 90s and stuff like that.
Yeah, didn't he direct Grease or something? Was it Grease? No, what was it?
What I'm going to say is maybe, because I know he doesn't. He doesn't want people necessarily to always know who lives in that house. Fair enough. So, but Grease is a good one to name. Yes. Yeah. So, amazing guy, really, really cool guy, and he just said that I get to live in the trailer for free. And I just have to take care of the ranch, take care of the horses. We had horses back then. Now this is all gone now because there's too many people. When I first moved into that trailer, the rancher, the guy who was looking, what's it called? Forest ranger. The ranger. He would clock people, and it'd be like 5,000 people a day. When I left 4 years later, it was 55,000 people a day. It just became hell. It became too much. And you know how it is. I mean, dare I say it, but people are not necessarily respectful. It's just not nice at one point. But at that point, it was amazing. It was beautiful. It was fantastic. It was great. It's fun.
Yeah. And so you lived in that ranch, and you were the caretaker. You're looking after the horses, looking after. Roxy's looking after you. You're looking after Roxy.
Absolutely.
And so from then, I mean, in terms of your passion, did you sort of always know that you wanted to head into acting? Because you've had some big roles over the last sort of 8-10 years.
Not at all. Whole story. Back up. Always did martial arts since I was 4. My dad actually wanted me to play soccer, but I ended up walking across the gym and started doing martial arts. He didn't even find out until later when he asked the soccer coach what position I played, and he said, I don't even know who this kid is. Yeah. So that's a whole other little story. But always been very independent, as you can tell from that story. I was just like, whatever, I'm going over there. But I always done martial arts, became a very young black belt in karate, became a very young black belt in taekwondo, did all these forms and katas, which I still love, but I felt like the king of the world, and then I got my ass handed to me by about 5 guys who put me in the hospital on the street. Just happened on the street. They wanted my jacket. This is
like a street fight.
It was a street fight, and I wanted nothing to do with martial arts anymore. I was like, this is all bullshit because it's not working, which is not necessarily true because that's how the story continues. A friend of mine, an older guy. At that point, older. I was like 13, 14. He said, why don't you do some kickboxing? Kind of use the traditional martial arts and actually use it with some more fighting style and learn how to apply those traditional techniques in an actual fighting scenario. And I did that for a couple of months and I loved it. And then he came up and said, hey, it was the summer break. And he was like, hey, I'm going to Thailand to study some Thai boxing in a seminar over the summer. And I went, what is Thailand? He goes, Thailand's the land, you dumbo. I'm like, oh, okay. And Muay Thai, what? My Muay Thai, what? Who, what? He goes, well, that's a form of kickboxing, but with elbows and knees, like the hardest form of fighting. I was like, oh, cool. So I asked my dad if I could go over the summer, 6 weeks seminar. And I did. And I was very proud because I was the only white guy. There was 4 in the beginning who went to that seminar, and they all dropped out. They couldn't handle it. And I have to admit, I went over there. I've always been the skinniest and smallest guy in my life. I was always being bullied and everything, throughout high school and everything. And I went over there, and the Thai guys are very thin and frail. And I'm like, damn, man, I'm going to kick some ass. No, not at all. That first night, I was lying on my mat in the gym. We were sleeping on the gym floor, and I don't know if I had broken ribs or bruised ribs, but I couldn't breathe. I was literally crying. I'm not kidding. I was crying and I was saying, tomorrow I'm going home. And then I woke up, and then I have this stubborn edge to me, where I went, nah, I'm not going home today. I'm going to stick one more day. I'm going to stay here one more day. So I did, and I actually ended up staying there for the entire time. And my coach, which became almost like an adopted dad over the years, but he looked at me in the very end. They don't look at you very much. They don't give you the respect to look at you until you really earn some respect. And I remember him like looking down, and then all of a sudden looking to my eyes and going, very well done. You stayed the whole time. I said, oh yeah, I'll be back. I'll be champ. I'll be And he goes, yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
But from that point on, I wanted to be nothing else but a professional fighter. As I said, in high school, I've been bullied. I've been kicked. I had my ass kicked all the time, handed to me. And to really get the whole idea of the story, because there's this thing that's coming up to understand that is I went from being bullied to being a bully. I actually became quite an asshole when I realized if I punch somebody and they go down, I'm pretty good at this. I'm pretty good at actually fighting. I'm actually good at kicking ass. So I used that, and I became quite a bit of an asshole, which was great for my fighting career, because it's like, whatever, I don't give a damn, I'm gonna kill you.
Just full arrogance.
A lot of temper in me. I had a lot of aggression, and in a way, it was great. I did the fighting because it kind of made me use all that aggression. But long story short, after about 5.5, almost 6 years, I had a serious motorcycle crash. I remember getting on the bike, and then I woke up in the hospital in Thailand, and I said, what happened? And he goes, well, you had a motorcycle crash. And I said, oh, well, when can I get out of the hospital? He said, well, you're lucky if you get to walk again. I'm like, what? I'm a pro fighter. And he goes, not anymore. And I told you this whole thing about the bullying because that was a huge, huge moment in my life. I went from doing exactly what I wanted to do, my biggest dream, and I was at the top. I'd done really well. I'd done really well. From that to absolutely nothing. I had no idea what I was going to do at that point. I literally was humbled to bits. I was like, this is it, dude. And took me about 2 years to be able to walk and do stuff again. And I have to always say that after all these years, I'm doing all the kicking and the punching, and I'm doing everything, which is unbelievable because they told me that I might never even walk. So I'm really, really grateful for that. Took a lot of work, though. Took a lot of work. I just posted on Instagram not too long ago, a couple of weeks ago, that I have this stretch machine. And because when I was young, I was just doing the splits in every direction. But since then, my hip, it was shattered. So I couldn't stretch nothing. For years, I've been stretching. And about a few weeks ago, I got to 170 degrees, which is not a full split. But to me, that's like, oh my God, it is possible. It is possible. I will not give up. I don't care if I'm 60 and I get the splits. It's almost like, I don't care about doing the splits. I don't care. It's just for me. You know what I mean? It's for me to say, no, I did not stop. I don't care. So, and stunt people have sometimes asked me, when you do these stunt fights and stuff like that, is it not painful? I said, oh, hell yeah. I pop about 6-8 Advils and I do the stunt, and then I sit on the couch for 2 weeks. Yeah. That's how it is. You just have to keep going. And acting, that's what you asked me.
Well, no, dude. It's an amazing story because it's sort of like a good it's a good foundation for because it sounds to me like ever since you were a kid, you've had this feeling of independence about you. Oh yeah, totally. And it's like it's like Damo goes and goes out into the world, into the wilderness, and it's like it's probably been like a repetitive thing for you all your life.
I'm very proud of my independence, but it's a double-edged sword. Yeah. Needless to say, I do think being so incredibly independent has made me very strong and very determined. But as far as let's call it how it is, as far as relationships go, I don't think I'm the kind of guy who could be in a very stable. It's very tough. Yeah, because I'm so independent, and people think that I'm like self-centered or something, which maybe I am, but I don't think it's that. I think it's more because I like to really like give things to people and do stuff for people. But when it's in a relationship, I'm so focused on my own things because I have so many things I want to achieve. I'm incredibly ambitious, always have been. I don't understand life without ambition. I don't understand how you can have a life. Like, people go, what's the meaning of life? It's like, I don't fucking need a meaning in my life.
Yeah.
The meaning of life is to just live it, but then you got to go. You got to do what you want to do, and you got to go for it. Like, you got to really. Everybody always, they're just so obsessed with finding what is it about, and who cares? It's about having fun, doing what you want to do, and enjoying it. But really do it. And I hate the saying, "I'll live my life to the fullest." No, you know what I mean? It's like, I live my life to the fullest. That's not even it either. It's just, just live a life. I mean, you have a life that's short. It's going to be gone within like a second, and then who cares? Like I said, I was living my dream. I achieved my dream, and then it was taken away from me like that, which is huge. Because at that point, I was like, where do I go from here? I mean, everything you can imagine, suicidal thoughts, all this kind of stuff. I fell back into being, kind of rough and rugged, and got into a lot of street fight, a lot of shit. A lot of trouble, but
how old were you at this stage?
So at 19, something like that, 19, 20. And the good thing is that I kind of ended up doing some, because I needed some work, and I had a girlfriend who was a stunt girl, and ended up doing some stunt stuff, which I enjoyed. And during that time, they asked me if I could deliver some lines, because they don't want to always hire two actors, one who delivers one line and then the stunts. And I was like, I don't know. So I actually decided maybe it's not a bad idea to go to like an acting school or something. So I ended up going to an acting school, and I tell you, the guy who was in his teens, a fighter who would say, "Dude, Shakespeare, fuck that," was like, damn, Shakespeare, this is really cool. I absolutely loved it. I was like, this is amazing. Right? Yeah. So I fell in love with it. I really did. And so
on that, with whether it was doing stunt work or whether it was doing martial arts or kickboxing or whatever, it sounds to me like you never had a plan. You just kept following what was calling you. And it just sort of fell into place.
I don't know. I never really have a plan in the sense I'm going to do this and I'm going to do this to achieve this. I just, like, when I was a fighter, I wanted to be world champ. When I was win every next fight, When I was a stuntman or an actor, like for stunts, for example, I've done all sorts of stunts for film and television, but also I remember doing some martial arts shows on the streets with other people, and I'm telling you, crazy stuff. If I would look at that now, I'd be like, I'm not gonna do that, it's gonna break my fucking neck, but back then you did it because you were young, you were just doing it, and anyway, I always wanted to test myself if I could still do what I can do, but I just, like, after that I decided to become an actor. It was more like I wanted to do stunts and acting. I wasn't really, it was never about I want to be the next Laurence Olivier or I be the next Robert De Niro. I never thought that I as a fighter, I always thought I was very talented. I felt that it's in my blood. As an actor, I always feel like I have to work on it very hard, or just really, so I never felt as comfortable. So I never believed that I would be like the next superstar with 15 Oscars or something. But I just wanted to be a working actor. That's what it is. You want to make enough money to survive and do what you enjoy doing. I always say that. I've said that in many interviews, that when people ask you, what is acting about for you? And I go, it's not about, it sounds horrible because some people are going to hate it, but for me, it's not about the art. It's actually, for me, it's about, I just want to entertain. Yeah. It's as simple as that. Yeah. And some people say, I just want to entertain. And, and again, I also don't honestly care if I would I wouldn't turn it down, but I don't care if I make $1 million on a film. As long as I make enough money to eat and do that, and concentrate on that, because that's hard enough. Because my whole life has always been doing 15,000 jobs in one day. You know how that is if you're an artist. Yeah. You're doing so many different things. You're having 3, 4, 5 different lives, and by the time you get to the life you actually really want to push and kind of develop more, you're exhausted.
Yeah.
That's a tough part, man. That's the tough part. That's people don't understand that. I had, and I'm going to say it. I don't care because I don't give a shit. I was posting something political on Facebook, and somebody answered on that, or trolled me, or put a comment down saying, "Why don't you stick to acting? Us working people have had a lot of help, blah blah blah, from something." We won't mention any names here, right? And I'm thinking, you fucker. First of all, I've done more different jobs in my lifetime than you've ever even known. Yeah, I've scraped fucking toilets in parks in France with toothbrushes. Yeah, I have done that. You haven't. So I just get mad at people like that. And besides, you know, as much as I do, being a musician and an artist, people always say, "Well, you're an artist, you don't work." Right.
Yeah.
It is the hardest fucking work in the world if you take it serious.
Yeah.
I'm telling you. It is so hard and so competitive and so demoralizing, because it just, you know, everything you do, everybody always criticizes you, and it's so hard to go get ahead. But people whatever.
Dude,
anyway.
It's funny. I remember this time when we were sort of looking in my band. We were sort of looking for record deals. And in terms of demoralizing, I can't believe we did this or whatever. But there was this. We were talking to this owner of a record label, and he wanted to get us on board. And he took us up to his his big suite in a casino and stuff. And we're there, and there was all of us were there, and he was there, and he was sort of like not that it matters, but he was a gay dude, right? And he goes, "This is how much we wanted it," and we would do anything, but it was so fucking demoralizing. He's like, "Guys, you know what? I'll give you guys $200 each if you all get down in your jocks and just start to fucking dance around in the." And dude, not all of us did it, but two of us did it, and it was, at the time, it was actually hilarious. But now looking back to it, I'm going, "Fuck, man, that is like." You know.
Well, that's another thing that people don't understand. I do have stories like that also. I don't really necessarily want to get into that because.
Well, you know what? You don't have to get into it, but
no. But I'm just saying, it's like people need to understand that it really fucks with your mind a lot of times, and it's very, because you want it so much, and you know, people always say, "Well, just why don't you just say no, or don't do this or that and this?" And it's like, yeah, right. You be in that position. I want to see what you would do. Like, just watch television. Watch those reality TV shows when they say there's $1 million in this box. What would you do for it? You'd go through a fucking shark-infested water thing and through snakes. And people are. Yeah. It's not as easy. Life is never as easy as people always make it when they sit at home on their little couch, and it's like. It's exactly like those guys with their big fat beer bellies watching a football game. Why didn't this guy just fucking catch that ball? That fucking loser. Oh yeah, that's who's talking? You're talking. I see. What? It's like when I always say that. I have a lot of friends who are still fighters, and there are a lot of occasions where I will watch their fight, or I'm really excited, and then the next day, you know, I hear or I've seen that they've lost and they're demoralized. And I always, no matter what, will call them, will comment on their Facebook or whatever. I always say, listen, you won the moment you stepped into that ring, because 5,000,000 percentage people will not even dare to step into that fucking ring. They have a big fucking mouth. Like Mike Tyson said, everybody has a big mouth until they get hit in the fucking nose, right? It's a huge thing just to step into the ring, and you never, ever lose. You only learn. And yes, it's a cliche thing, but you really do. So, you know, I'm a big, I always tell my friends that it's so important to understand that. Yeah. No matter what you do, don't ever think that what you've done was for nothing or not worth it, even if it's a loss. Yeah. It doesn't matter. It really doesn't.
Yeah, yeah. No, dude, I hear, and you know, it's sort of the ring of life, isn't it? You've just got to step in, and that's the thing. Most people are too fucking scared to even step into the ring, because it's like,
everybody has a big mouth. Everybody has a big mouth, and yet, really, 99.99999% of all these people don't have the guts to actually then step into that ring of life. They don't. They really don't.
Yeah, I agree,
You know?
man. And it's,
So-
I mean, but everyone wants to, but it takes, the courage is to literally lift up the rope and fucking step in, isn't it?
Oh yeah,
That's
you know.
and then
Funny story. I'm a huge fan of Steve McQueen, my favorite actor of all times, and I'm also, of course, a huge fan of Bruce Lee. And when Steve McQueen hit it big time, Bruce Lee and Steve McQueen were friends. Bruce Lee asked him to, get him into the TV show. I think Wanted, or I can't remember what it was. Just as a, helping him out and stuff like that. And Steve McQueen just literally said, listen, I'm not going to fucking carry you on my shoulders. So you got to do this yourself. And that's how the story goes. If it's 100% true, I don't know. I read it in a few different kind of books, but I just found it impressive because it's like, because, I have people even now asking me for, helping them out or doing them some favors. If I could, I would, but a lot of times you can't. They don't even understand that you can't.
Yeah.
Like when I was on Grimm, all these people started hitting me up. People I knew, some people I didn't know, and they said, can you get me into the show? I'm like, I'm lucky if I'm staying in the show. Do you not understand that? I read every script going, oh shit, I'm going to die today. You know? You don't even understand that. You're on there ice skating and trying to survive, and everybody wants to jump on top of you and skate with you. It's like, no, that's not how it works.
Nah. And dude, I know that story well because I used to be that guy that was trying to clutch at straws. I used to be that guy that I'd meet someone famous or I'd meet someone that's like, and then straight away I'd be like, oh my God, this could be my ticket into the fucking big time, but after you've been through the rigmarole a number of times, you really do realize that no one's ever going to fucking save you. Like you've got to, and that's the coolest part.
Because they can't, because technically speaking, you never make it. People don't understand that either. Whenever one job is, as an artist, once one job is done, however successful that was, you're back to square one.
Yeah.
They don't understand. They think that it's totally true.
Yeah.
Anyway,
but no, so how cool is it that when you do take the responsibility back onto yourself and you don't look for others to bring you up or save you or whatever, when you actually get the wins, fuck, it feels so much better, doesn't it?
Absolutely. I totally agree. Oh yeah, totally.
And dude, so one of the things I sort of wonder with you, and because you know what, like from the outside looking in, you're a fucking good-looking dude, like you're a good-looking guy.
You're asking me out again?
No.
Jesus, again. He did that just before we started recording. Here we go again.
No, but it is. It's like you're a good-looking dude. You've got, you got a good rig and whatever, and but and I'm talking more of an aesthetic type thing, but also I reckon I might be wrong, but I reckon that one of the challenges that you might have come across would be with, I guess, with women, your experience with women would have been, I reckon a lot of women would have just wanted to get you in the sack just to or I don't know, like there would have been.
It's funny you say that. I actually believe that I intimidate a lot of women.
Yeah.
First of all, people always think that I'm like, it must be just, we always look at people and look at the way they look, and just the charisma they come, like just how they come across. And I always must come across like I'm really hard and quite stubborn, and I am stubborn, but I'm actually quite compassionate too, and passionate and everything. Like, but I do think I intimidate a lot of even people, not just women. A lot of times people are like a little nervous around me until they get to know me, because I'm just a big goof. So yeah, I don't know how to answer that.
well, no. I mean, when I remember when we met you, our first impression was like we just wanted to hang out with you more because we just thought you were a fucking cool dude.
I'll tell you a funny story about Runyon Canyon.
Yeah.
There was two houses on Runyon Canyon. One is all up on that mountain, but the ranch is the one that's accessible, right? So people will see it. And you can't just buy a house there. You can't have a house there. That house is from way back then. That whole Runyon Canyon area, by the way, you might not know this, used to be Errol Flynn's residence. It's his whole. He used to own all this.
Yeah.
But so the house was quite an amazing ranch house to be on Runyon Canyon, and everybody, when I would be doing the hedges or something, would walk up to me and say, "Hi, how's it going?" Especially like attractive women. There's Runyon Canyon has all the hot chicks there.
All the hot chicks.
All the hot guys too. I mean, take the shows. Everyone wants to be seen and see and be seen. It's like the new Venice Beach of the Venice Beach of the '90s is now Runyon Canyon here.
Yeah.
So all these hot chicks come up to me and go, "Hey, how are you?" I'm like, "I'm good, good." Yeah, so and they start talking and talking until I realized they were trying to ask me out. And I was like, "Holy shit, what the fuck?" Until I realized they were asking me out because they thought I owned the house. So in the end, and I'm not joking, in the end, I would have a hot chick come over and go, "Hi, how are you doing?" I said, "Listen, just before you start talking, I live in the trailer. I'm the caretaker. I don't own the house." That stopped about 99% of the conversations. Okay, and then just walked off. Yeah. So I was like, I'm not having any of that. But that's Hollywood. What can you do? Right?
Yeah. Well, I know. And so dude, so you had quite a bit of success with Grimm. Like Grimm was a big show for you, huh? And then, because what was like 5 or 6 seasons or something that you.
Well, I actually quit acting about 2 weeks before I got Grimm, because my then manager sent me to an audition as a midget, and I was so upset that I told her, "What the fuck did you send me for that audition?" And she was like, "Oh, I didn't see that. It was for. I know you're not supposed to say midget, small people." Yeah, and I was so upset that I fired her, and I told my brother, who is and was a manager for writers, directors, and cartoon artists. He doesn't manage actors, but he said, "Dude, you've been in this for so long, I don't want you to stop. Let me just try to represent you." And he actually got me the audition for Grimm and called me at like 11 o'clock at night. At that time, I was working at a gym, started at 4 in the morning, and then would go home like around 11, go to the ranch, take care of the horses, take care of everything on the ranch, then rush back down and train people until 11 and get back home. I got like no sleep. I was like, wow, right? I was so tired. I was like, I do not want to do this. Said, "Can you just tape yourself?" And I was like, fuck it. But it's my brother, so I'm not going to say no. So I did it. And the next day I said, "Yeah, we really like this, but who are you?" I said, my brother. So yeah, I was hired to do one episode originally. One episode where I was supposed to do a stunt fight, because they wanted somebody who speaks German, somebody who could do stunt fighting. I was supposed to die in the fight, but I went up there and I did only a few lines in the train. I said, "Wasn't I supposed to fight?" They go, "Yeah, well, the character comes back 2 more times, and then he fights, and then he dies." I said, "Okay, cool. Well, that's good. 3 episodes, a little bit, more fun." And then I had dinner or lunch with one of the writers, and he found out of my back career, the Muay Thai and the fighting and everything. He said, "We got to have a bigger fight than the thing. We got to have a bigger fight." So he wanted to have a bigger fight, and he kept the character on, and the character became so popular that they said, well, after the actual big fight in the first of season 3, where I was introduced, they said, "We're not going to make you die. We're going to make you hide into the woods. Maybe we can use you later." And it was like, oh, cool. So I was really excited. And then I didn't hear from them for a whole season. I went back to teaching at a school for personal trainers, and I was all depressed because you kind of get a little sniff of that, this feels great. And then you go, oh, fuck. Yeah. And all of a sudden they called me for the last episode of season 4 to have almost be the cliffhanger for the whole show. It's like, what the? And then I did that, and it was a huge success because we're like, oh my God, this guy's back. And I said to my brother that they cannot not have me for season 5, even if they have me for a few episodes and kill me. But then I actually went into season 5, and it was in the whole entire season 5, and they really started building the character. Until one day I came on set and I got the script. It was towards the end of the season. And I opened the script and I started reading, and then I read and I go, "And Meisner dies," and I go,
no!
What the fuck? I'm on set. I'm supposed to shoot. And I read, what? Yeah, the writers, both of them, the producers and the writers, they both later said, "I'm sorry, we forgot to tell you. We should have totally told you." So it's all cool. But I was like, wow. Having said that, they killed me off because apparently, and again, I don't care. I don't, no bars hold, no holds barred. apparently the studio wanted me killed because that would give a big pump to the show and carry them on. And they could get rid of me because apparently I was taken away from the lead or whatever. I don't know. So they killed me, and I was devastated. And then I get a call for season 6. They were told they had only a half season left, and then they were going to be canceled. Right? So they wanted to wrap up the whole show. And they called me back and they said, "Well, yeah, you're in the second episode." And I said, "I'm dead." And he goes, "That's right, but you're coming back as a ghost and you're going to haunt the guy that killed me." I'm like, "Oh, fuck yeah!" So, and people weren't happy about that they did that, but they did it anyway. So it was cool. So yeah, I was in almost 4 seasons, three seasons and a bit.
Yeah.
Like 32 episodes. It was amazing.
Love it, man. Sure. And then, so from there, because then that was like another high for you, wasn't it? Like that was, that was like
huge. It was so amazing. Cool. I had an article published about my life and about me in the LA Times, and I literally thought, man, I'm this is it. I'm never going to not work again. I'm going to be a working actor again. I wasn't thinking I'm going to be a star, but I was like, this is it, man. Awesome. Yeah. And then came reality. And it's I've done independent films and stuff like that, but it's definitely back to total struggle. Yeah. And now with COVID-19, it's back to no money. Again, I'm always, everything always seems to keep moving. So you always kind of just keep going and see what happens next. I mean, I'm a strong supporter, and again, some people might not like this. I'm not religious. I don't believe in God. Again, I've never said that, but I'm going to say it because some people have a huge problem with it. And at this point, I don't give a shit anymore because people are too obsessed with all this bullshit, religion and God and all this stuff. And they're going to hate me for saying this, but I don't care. This is how I am. But I'm a huge believer in ethics and morals and everything and being good. Because I have this idea that if you accumulate memories in your life that are horrible, terrible memories, and you're going to die, you're going to end up in hell because that's the memories your soul is going to have. But if you have great memories and you have great moments and all these beautiful moments that you create yourself, in a way, you're going to be in heaven because those are the kind of moments that are going to flow away with you. So it's all about creating just moments and moments that are just beautiful or fun, or enjoyable, And again, it's a cliche, but it's everything is just about a moment. Yeah, it is, isn't it? It's a little moment. Yeah, so,
it is. It's I practice a lot of yoga and stuff, which would probably be the same as your sort of practices, which is it's just a vehicle to sort of bring us back into this moment. But in those brief little times where you sort of forget the past and the future, and you just sort of land. It's
Absolutely.
Like, fuck.
Have you ever heard of this? It's a meditating. Whatever you call it. It's a meditation called The River. It's a Japanese meditation. Somebody told me that because I used to have a lot of problems sleeping. And it's like you imagine you are a river and you are the water and you flow along the river and whatever comes at you just flows by you. Everything flows by you. And then the thought of you being the river even flows by you. Everything just, everything just becomes like a trance, and then you fall asleep. And I'll tell you, dude, it works. It takes a lot of practice because if you have a mind that keeps going crazy and you can't sleep, that takes a lot of practice, but it really focuses you, just continuously. Everything flows away. Even the thought of you thinking about what you're doing flows away. Yeah. So it's quite impressive when it actually works.
And dude, on that, I mean, man, you've had a very colourful life, and it feels like you haven't even started to touch the sides yet, which is cool. But
I don't know about that.
Like with you and the experiences and what you've learned, it'd be cool to hear, like, because it sounds to me like you're constantly, well, one, you're constantly acknowledging, where you fucked up, and you're constantly acknowledging where you want to, or what you actually want to experience. But what are the sort of key things for you where you really call yourself on your own shit, and where you're like, do you know what, that's not okay for me in terms of how I live my life?
Okay, so I pointed out that I grew up with a lot of aggression, a lot of anger, temper. I'm generally, naturally, biologically, I think a very kind of aggressive kind of guy, which I had to work on. That was the one thing I had to really, really work on in my life. My accident really humbled me because it made me realize I'm not God. You know, it sounds horrible when I say that, but you know, before that and me fighting and everything, I was undefeatable. I did not believe that anything could touch me. I was the king, the god, everything of the universe. And to have that accident and be told that everything's over, not only humbled me, but completely changed my whole personality, my whole life. It changed everything. So I had to work a lot on the aggression and the temper. And even now, I mean, it's 50 million times better. But if I feel my temper flaring up or getting aggressive, I have learned to control it and to actually be calm and to try to address the problem with the person a lot different. I used to strike first, like Cobra. Yeah, I'm actually wearing Cobra Kai. I don't know if you know what that is. Cobra Kai.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, strike first, strike hard, no mercy.
Yeah.
But that was me before, but now I guess I'm Mr. Miyagi. You know, I'm really like, I was never, as you can tell by this podcast, I'm not the most articulate guy. I'm trying, but considering how I couldn't articulate it all before, now I'm really trying to actually find the right words. I'm trying to take my time a little bit and trying to talk to people and engage with people more than instead of just being physical. I'm also an extremely physical guy, which has helped me a lot, you know, in sports and everything. But sometimes that's not a good thing if you have an altercation with somebody. You know, I used to get into people's faces immediately. So it's all of these things are not good. I mean, I did a lot of I had a security company where, like, I was working for a security company and had a security company in London. I had to do a lot of seminars and a lot of schooling on that, and we learned all about de-escalation situations and you know, calming people down and not getting into fights. Because the whole idea is not to be a bouncer who can stand there and pound somebody to death. It's about de-escalating the situation, calming people down, getting away with having any kind of physical confrontation. That's the way to do it. I worked a lot with military and police forces too during that time, and learned a lot from them too. And you know, on the other hand, I gave them ideas on self-defense. But so that was definitely one thing I had to really, really work on hard, and I still work on every day. I still work on that every day. It's gotten a lot better, and I'm very proud of myself. I do think that because I'm getting older, it's also I'm calming down a little bit, which is good. But as far as calling myself on my bullshit is concerned, like procrastination and all that kind of stuff, I am a huge believer. I have this saying that I always say, it's like, there's no freedom without discipline, and there's no discipline without structure and routine. People never understand that. They always go, well, no, that's not freedom. You're stuck in the structure. No, you're not. If you have no structure, if you have no routine, then everything's all over the place. It's like, imagine the sun, the power of the sun, but it flares everywhere. It goes everywhere. Star Wars, the Death Star, has the same power, but it has one beam, and it shoots it straight onto something, and that's more powerful and more focused than anything else. So, you know, be the Death Star, not the sun.
Well, it's funny, man, because with your you know, with your movies and stuff, and a lot of the movies that you're involved in and the projects you're involved in terms of acting, they're sort of quite dark, aren't they? They're sort of, yeah.
People always ask me why do you do horror so much, and why don't you do anything else? And I reply, I would love to do a romantic comedy, but nobody's asking me.
Yeah.
It's as simple as that. I actually on the podcast last week, I was asked that question. I said, I want to do nothing more but a comedy right now. I really would love to, but people don't. And again, I do believe it's because of what I've done. and what people know me as. Then they know my background, martial arts. They know my background, having taught and worked with military and police forces and all that. I was on the show Deadliest Warrior. That always make people think. Everybody thinks I'm like this Rambo. Such a pile of bullshit. I mean, one of my best friends, the toughest guy I've ever met in my life, the most badass guy in the world. There's been movies made about him. I'm not gonna mention his name because no, he won't appreciate it. But is the biggest goof. The biggest goof. He makes more jokes and dumb jokes than any other person I've ever met. Now, I've actually asked him once, I said, how you've experienced the worst things in the world ever. You've literally seen people's head blown off. And yet you just goof around. He goes, well, how else am I going to get through this? I need to have humor as a release. That's all I got. And that's what people don't understand. So, yeah, I would love to do comedy. I would love to do something really goofy and stupid but again, I don't know.
Yeah. So, do you know what's funny, man? As you're talking just now, and my, one of the things that I know that I'm fucking powerful at is my intuition. My intuition is always, like, pretty much always dead on. And do you know what's funny, man? Like, just as you were talking then, I literally just got this idea in terms of you, and I don't know if you're doing it already, but like, you got to make your own fucking movie, dude. Like, I honestly reckon. No, seriously, man. Like,
oh no, I'm not laughing because of that. I'm laughing. I've written more scripts than you can imagine, and me and my brother have tried to produce so many things. I guess that's my big next dream. I
reckon it's happening.
Yeah, I've been trying. I've been trying this for a long time. As a matter of fact, my ex-girlfriend. Long-term girlfriend, fiance, actually. Ex-fiance. We got back in touch with each other after many years, and she asked me about a script I wrote a long time ago. It's funny because I had just rewritten that whole script because it was set in England, and I now set it in New York because it's a farce. It's a farce about how ridiculous people are when they are conned into believing something is great, but it isn't. And it's called The Omelet Kid, and I'll leave it at that. Right there, what the, So that is my dream. My dream is to make that film, and I believe that one day I will, unless I drop dead before that.
Nah, you're not going anywhere, dude. You got too much shit to do. It's so cool, so good. Man. Well, fuck, what a story, bro. It was so cool to have you on. Such a cool story.
So what about before we finish? What about you? You're doing the yoga thing, right? And
man. So I do. I've got yoga's been a huge part of my jam for since I actually found it when just before I left LA, and I began my yoga practice there, Kundalini yoga. Did you ever go to Guru? Did you remember Guru Singh? No, anyway, this guy down in Santa Monica. But so I began my yoga journey there, and that was the thing that really that was the thing that showed me how powerful we are as humans, and just the and it was actually on Runyon Canyon where I had my first like massive aha moment where I sort of realized that I get to make my own choices. And it took me to, I was like 20, no, I would have been 31, 32. And it was then where I was like, what? I get to make my own choices? Like, and but it landed, it was like, wow, like I'm actually responsible for every fucking thing in my life, So, so yoga's been a huge vehicle for me to keep bringing myself back into what I want to do. And then, I'm loving doing these podcasts and stuff, man. I get to reconnect with all these cool people that I've sort of looked up to over the years. And then other than that, dude, I'm doing some like coaching and just weird shit, like I'm just similar to you. I'm just making life up as I go.
Yeah, no, but that's whoever says they're not, they're liars.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I don't care how successful or how focused you are on whatever you're doing.
Yeah.
If you're not just making it up on the go, then you're a liar.
Totally.
There's no way. There's no way
Totally.
people just walk into every situation and know exactly how to deal with it and do it. It doesn't happen. It
Yeah.
does not happen.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
but anyway, but yeah, no, it's cool. It's fantastic. I mean, I always saw all the stuff on Facebook. I honestly believed it was like 3 years. I can't believe it's fucking 8 years. That's
I know.
crazy, dude.
Crazy.
But
Crazy.
yeah, but that's so cool, man.
Yeah,
That's
and then
so
other than
cool.
that, man, like it's funny. I mean, I just see, and I don't know what your thoughts are, but I'm really seeing the world, almost self-implode at the moment, and so that's why I don't really put any focus. I don't know if that's digging or putting my head in the sand or whatever, but I just don't put any focus or any mental energy into COVID, into fucking the presidency, and I know I'm in Melbourne, and I know it's crazy over there as well, but it's almost like I'm just at the moment I'm just living life exactly how I want to live it, and I'm just going, that shit's going on, but I'm just keep yeah.
The thing is with that, I'm a historian fanatic. I've read everything. I'm a history freak. I read all these books and everything. So politics is a big thing for me in watching it. But having said that, you are able to zone out because you do your yoga and all that stuff. I don't know if you've seen this documentary called The Social Dilemma on Netflix yet. You should watch it if you can.
Maybe I have.
It's all about social media and how it's fucked us.
I have seen it.
Yeah, it's fucked this whole. Yes, social media. I'm on social media. I like social media, but people are too focused and too sent on social media, and it's fucking them up. Instead of actually just looking at that tree, looking at that, I had a friend who once said to a quote, let me get that right. He said, I've met my future wife many, many times, but she was too busy looking at her phone. Get it?
Yeah.
And I was like, it was a joke. He kind of said it as a joke, but I was thinking, fuck yeah. Because I mean, just for example, relationships, people especially in Hollywood, you know that, it's a little different in the rest of the world, but Hollywood especially, it's like at the top of the hill, how bad it could be. And it's literally like, you're not even able to look at somebody and actually just smile. It's impossible because they'll be on their fucking phone. It's nuts. It's insane. And them being on the phone the whole time and getting fed all this dumb bullshit, and, it just makes everybody hate everybody else. Instead of being able to actually talk and just relax, chill the fuck out, man. Chill, relax, chill. It can all be talk. If we all talk and just relax, of course, I want this, you want that. Maybe I can't have this and you can't have that, but maybe we can have such a thing that works kind of together, but it's, I don't know. That's a whole nother podcast.
I know. Yeah.
It's just very sad.
It is, man.
Sad.
And the way that I sort of gauge it, the way that I gauge it is when I speak to people, because it's funny, man, when you speak to someone and they're directly in front of you and you look into their eyes, it's like they're like, whoa, fuck, that's way too much for me. They look away. They're like, fucking, but people are really finding it hard to deal with just connecting with another human.
Absolutely.
Fuck, man, it's wow.
It's really fucking us up. It's really bad. And everybody talks about it and says, yeah, it's really bad, and then they go, And again, I'm on social media, but I think of my social media as part of my job. I post stuff. I do when I do a new film coming out with this and that and this, whatever. But and I post dude, I've had people in this business, in this entertainment business. There was this one manager who was going to represent me, and I've been chasing her down because you know how it is. If you get representation, that'll change your whole life. A certain type of representation. And at one time I posted something, an outtake out of a taped audition I did at home, it was funny because I totally fucked it up, and I had to post it.
I saw it.
She wrote, and that was a while ago. This is another one I just did just now. That was just I fucked it up too. But I just like things like that. But I remember posting that, and she, I think, emailed or texted or DM'd me, and said, "This is exactly why I cannot represent you, because what you're showing is the same thing common people do. They don't want to see that. They want you to be on this pedestal. They want you to be something different. They want you to be special, and they want you to be a star, something to look up to." And I went, you know what? Fuck you. Bye. I post what I want to post, and I don't give a shit if I'm on this pedestal. That's exactly, I think, wrong. I think that's not what people want. You know, maybe that's what people wanted in the 70s and 80s when these movie stars came out and all that stuff. Maybe that's this whole business, and I'm sure in the music business the same thing. They tell you how you're supposed to behave. They tell you what you're supposed to say. They tell you what you are allowed and not allowed to say. And the problem with me is, and that's probably why I don't know, I have no idea, but it's probably not a good thing, but I'm like, fuck you. I do what I do, and if you don't like it, I don't give a shit. And the thing is with me, I'm very ambitious, and I want to do the things I want to do, but I'm not that ambitious that I'm going to go, or I'm going to just snuggle up and do exactly what you want me to do to get to where I want to be. No, I don't care. If me is not what will get me to the top of whatever that means, then tough shit. I mean, I'm enjoying myself. I'm okay. I'm good. You know, I always say one thing. If I get to sleep and if I get to eat, I'm good. I don't even need to be inside. I can sleep in my car. People always go, "Whoa, you know." They have always what? They always complain, like politics, really quickly. Everybody complains. "Oh, you know, this guy's at the top. This guy's running the show. This guy, I can't afford my cars and this and again." Dude, I have a car that's 20 years old. Yeah. I live in a little tiny room, and I sleep on the floor because I've always done so. I don't even have a bed. It's not necessarily because I can't afford it. It's just I don't have a bed because I always sleep on the floor. I don't need anything. That's all bullshit. Everybody wants to have their super new leased car. They want to have 15 vacations a year. Shut the fuck up. You know, people 100 years ago didn't have that. You know, but everybody says, "Well, I'm not doing well financially." No, you're not doing financially because you're using your credit cards to go on vacations all the time to buy stuff that you can't afford. If you can't afford it, don't fucking buy it. What is your fucking problem? Now I sound angry. Now I'm bitter. Now everybody's going to go, "No, I thought you fucking was bitter."
Not at all, dude. No, I
just get fed up with people's
bullshit. Yeah, man. No, but it is. It's like, but what you're saying is 100% on the money. And at the end of the day, you know, we get to the end of our lives, which everyone does, and we're all gonna fucking die at some point. And
that's
then
right.
when
Like
we do,
my dad says, you're born alone and you will die alone. And
exactly.
So true, so.
And it's like I always remind myself that in that last breath, or in that moment when I know I've got fucking 5 or 10 breaths left, am I gonna look back over my life and go, "That was fucking fun," or am I gonna look back and go, "What the fuck was the use?"
Totally second that. I absolutely agree. 100%. That's it. That's exactly what it is.
Yeah, man. You know? Yeah. All right, dude. You're a fucking machine. Damo, thank you so much, dude. Such an honor to have you on, bro. And it's
great to see you.
A lot of people get a lot out of this. So thank you, man. Really appreciate it. No, you're a beautiful man.
All right, take care, buddy.